extension. So if you look at column 2, D1 extension. My fingers and my thumb must be extended and abducted. I'm pronated. My wrist is extended and ulnarly deviated. My scapula is depressed and my shoulder is extended, abducted, and internally rotated. This sounds like a lot, but when you do the pattern, when you memorize the pattern, motor memory, the pattern, you automatically go, and then you just look. So during the test, I'm going to see you guys just looking at your shoulder. Okay, I'm abducted, I'm extended, and I'm internally rotated. My elbow can be extended, my forearm's pronated, my wrist is extended, my fingers are extended, my thumb is abducted. And didn't we just say this was D1 extension? So most everything here, this pattern anyway, this makes it easy. We're pretty much in an extension pattern. So this is the start position.
This is the push. Somebody from my last class said, or it's like if you get a tip and you're looking, to see like what the tip is, right? And these, I keep saying them because this is how you teach your patient. Punch, push, like, did you get the tip? Okay. So be ready to, because when you teach it,
that's what
you're not going to be
the
teaching.
baton. You're grabbing the baton, running.
So the hands got this is what
You want the
And the wrist is
definitely
extended.
open. Yeah.
The wrist is extended though, Mike. Yes. Wrist is extended.
everything.
Pretty much everything's extended. Yeah, this way. Yes. Extended this way. So it's push. Push something behind you. Push. Okay? So then from here, guys, now we're going to talk about D1 flexion. And I said the movement is from distal to proximal. The hand and finger and wrist, I believe, pretty much need to be completed midway. The shoulder is the last thing to happen. So now we're going to do the reverse. So here I'm in D1 extension. I'm now going to perform finger flexion, wrist flexion, supination, elbow flexion, shoulder adduction, external rotation, and flexion. That's my punch. Okay, so fingers flex, thumb becomes adducted. I came up and I punched across my body, but realized the shoulder is externally rotated. It's not internal. We're not here. We're here.
So I'm getting somebody that's coming.
You're nailing them up underneath their chin, maybe. Uppercut. Okay? So this is D1. You just need to walk around D1. Okay? Just walk around your house. This is D1. And practice over and over and over. Now the beauty is, I'm jumping ahead for a second. We're not going to go into detail. The lower extremity pattern is the same diagonal. There's a little tweaking as far as what positions. Life gets a little bit more difficult. But the pattern of the diagonal is in the same direction. Okay, so let's
Distal, so you're here. Distal starts it, right? Named proximally, but distal starts it. Fingers have to go first, right? Wrist, your supinating, then your elbow. About this point is where you want all that to happen, right? External rotate, punch. One thing with this, right? You kind of see Professor Martell and I doing it, but you watch it, okay? Really, really important that your
With their own
patient
eyes.
is watching what happens,
That's right.
okay? Because the visual is one of the parts of PNF that
That's the sensory stuff I was talking about.
okay, so they're watching it.
You don't always watch the distal portion of it? Do you like split same thing?
Okay.
Or I wait.
Always. I hate always. Just hold on. Hold on when we get to, because remember PNF can be performed with manual resistance. So we're going to get there in a second. We're going to do a demonstration. But you also use these patterns as the patient doing their own strengthening. You can, we'll get there. Let me not jump ahead. Hold that thought. So this is going to make your life, I'm not going to go into detail right now because again, my goal today is for you just to understand the patterns. D1 and then D2. Okay, we need to get that first, but I'm just going to tell you this much for now. A symmetric pattern is two all learn D1, then we're doing this. That's a symmetric PNF diagonal pattern. Both limbs doing the same thing.
At the same time.
Same time.
So it's BIL, right, bilateral, SYM, symmetrical, UE, upper extremity, D1F.
You've got,
Oh,
you've got
God.
the
Documentation. Yeah, do it again. Repeat
Say it
it
again?
BIL, bilateral,
Or B with a circle.
okay,
Or
that's
B with
fine.
a circle.
I can't do the circle on my computer, so.
True. True.
SYM is symmetrical. UE, upper extremity, so bilateral symmetrical upper extremity. D1F,
D1 flexion.
standing. And you can do D1F right into D2E, or D1F, D1E. It's kind of understood with this that you're doing both, because you gotta come back down. Right? But anyway, in standing.
Good. Excellent. STD for stand. I don't know if that's approved or not. I don't think so. I would write the word stand.
I always give them credit.
What is asymmetric?
Standing, yes.
Yeah, I think I would write stand. Okay.
Bilateral symmetrical upper extremity.
Yes. So
10
that's your,
times, 10 times 1 with standby assist.
right, how many times you did it. That's right. So that's your symmetric. Now, how many of you have heard of doing chops and lifts in weight training? Chops and lifts. Anybody ever heard of that? Did you ever do any, okay, did you ever do any of this kind of stuff with a cable column? Okay? This is the chop, this is the lift. So this is an asymmetric PNF pattern.
Closed.
Yes. So,
Loop. Closed loop.
yes, with the, you theoretically, right, I guess by definition, it's supposed to be with a hold hand, okay. But you will see whether it's right or wrong, that it might be written.
That's fine.
I don't know, it's wrong, but anyway, so with a closed loop, so you're holding. But what this means is, with an asymmetric, one upper extremity is doing the D1 pattern, and the other one is doing the D2 pattern. If we're but the same flexion. So if we're talking about flexion,
So let's do
Do-
D2 flexion,
Is this
okay?
only for the upper?
We're doing the upper, so
we're,
right now
we're
you've
just
got,
staying on upper for right now. We're gonna, all of this applies to lowers.
That's what I
It all applies to lowers, but we're
should take you through the upper.
So the asymmetric would be the same for the lower, that same meaning.
yeah, but you can't hold on. That's why I said
Yeah.
it's, yeah.
let's do this,
Okay.
let's get through, the patterns and the terminology,
That's right.
okay? And then we're gonna do it, okay? So it's gonna keep overlapping, but right now we just kinda want you to
Right.
know the terminology.
That's
So,
right. So all
in order, I think to do asymmetric,
Yeah.
let's do, so
The
we all
D2.
know this is D1, right? Okay, so let's do D2 flexion, it's gonna start in what we consider extension. Okay, we're gonna go into, this is our pattern, now we've got, you read it out,
Okay.
it's easier.
So if we're going into D2 flexion, this is the ultimate end position. So this is the D1 angle is this way. Remember, we did this. This is D1, all right? The D2 angle is now this way. So we've made an X, essentially. This was D1, okay? And then the
Sword or-
sword is an excellent example. Draw the sword. I use that all the time as cueing for
Empty
the
beer
patient.
can.
So,
Right, because you gotta get this turn,
You got names
with
for this,
their
like
you gotta
band.
get
push
the
and
turn down.
pull? Is there names for this, like
Yeah.
pushes, like
Well,
push and pull? Or
I
push?
do
You
draw
can do
sword.
the, you can draw the sword, I reach for the money.
oh, right.
Because I have an invisible money tree, right? So you'll see why I do later, because we're gonna pull a lot of core into it later. But you can do the sword, but if I do reach for the money, right, and then put it in your pocket. Or you can do reach for the sword, and
put
put a
it in
beer
its
can,
holster thing.
you know, whatever, or
Sheath.
whatever it is. But
Holster thing.
you're really kind of
I'm a
aiming
PT,
down to that
not a
hip.
sword
I
guy.
understand the shoulder flexion part, but what about the elbow?
Okay, wait, I'm trying to get there. Hold on, here we go. So,
Okay,
excellent.
right, so we're doing D2F.
Okay, so I just wanted you to have the big gross visual of which angle we're going in, okay? So now, let's finish the position for a second, because I think sometimes understanding the finish helps you. So this was D1 flexion, this is D2 flexion, Okay, so,
Should be in.
yeah, this is where it gets, a little bit frustrating.
Wait a minute, this is D2 flexion.
I know, wait,
Yes.
let me finish the
It's
thought.
shoulder.
Because it's the shoulder. So this worked lovely. Everything was in flexion, right? This was a wonderful, and this was extension, and everything was wonderful. But now, the shoulder is in flexion, but the fingers, the thumb, the supinate and elbow is extended. Okay? So this is why it is a harder pattern. It's a harder pattern. So it's frustrating, but you have to remember it's named by the shoulder, where the position of the shoulder is. So now when we end D2 flexion, we are in shoulder flexion, abduction, and external rotation. The scapula is elevated, it's abducted, and upwardly rotated. You can just gonna have to feel it and understand the mechanics. Your elbow can be flexed or extended, but generally it's extended. Generally it's extended. Forearm is supinated, then the wrist is extended, the fingers are extended, and the thumb is abducted. You are radially deviated.